Hey, what's going on? What's going on? How everybody doing today? It's the King Kevin Show. Sorry about that, I'm 2 minutes late. I don't know what's going on. I had a little technical difficulties going on, but hey, I'm here now. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in today. I'm not sure how many are on the King Kevin Show. Today is September 11th, and right now we are listening to Atlantic Star When Love Calls. So y'all just bear with me and listen to this tune right quick, and I'll be right back with you, okay? Alright. I just had to, tune that down for a second. And God bless all of you. Today's September 11th, and we all know, first and foremost, always start the show with a prayer. So I'm gonna do a quick prayer, and also for the September 11th victims and the survivors. God's good. God's great. Bless us, Lord Father God, with such a wonderful and blessed day. I pray all is well for our family and friends, Lord Father God, and I thank you for your blessing. I thank you for your grace. And just guide us, and rest in peace to everybody who passed away September 11th, before that date and after that date, oh Father God, and just guide us and have a blessed and productive and educational show today on the King Kevin Show. Blessings, amen. Well, everybody, yes, today's show topic is the Butler, and also this awesome book by Dr. Claude Anderson. Here it is, Black Labor and White Wealth. This is one of the most profound books I've read in a very, very, very long time. I mean, I kid you not. I read the book, started like 2 weeks ago, and I read it, and within like 11 days or something like that, and as you can see, I was taking notes by, it being highlighted. Now, you can tell by the title of this book that is dealing with the systematic way things has been going for the black community. Now, everybody's welcome to tune into the show, and I'd love to hear everyone's opinion on what's going on in the world today. And also, anyone who wants to call in, I'm not going to take in callers right now, but if you go to your Skype, my Skype is Courage to Believe, and you can call in from there. Courage, the number 2, Believe. I almost forgot to let the calls come in. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's been a very busy day. I literally just flew in from speaking at Comic Creole at Florida Atlantic University up there in Boca Raton, Florida. So shout out to Comic Creole and everybody who's tuning in right now from Comic Creole. And I want to make sure that I get everybody, a good mention. I see someone just sent me a request to call in. I'm going to accept the request, but I'm not taking calls in right now. Just give me a few minutes, guys, and I'll definitely get back with you. Many blessings to you. Now, back to Black Labor and White Wealth, and also the Butler. Now, I'm not sure how many of you all have watched the Butler, which is a very great movie to watch. It's historical, educational, empowering, inspiring, and all that good stuff. Forrest Whitaker, Oprah Winfrey, one of them or if not both, but one of them is going to win the Oscars this year regarding that movie. Also, the director, I'll be very surprised if he doesn't win an award. That movie is like, wow. Now, the correlation between black labor and white wealth and the Butler is very strong. The fact that the Butler started with the cotton fields and the slave plantations in I believe the late 1800s or early 1900s, whatever the case may be, had to be the late 1800s. The book by Dr. Claude Anderson discusses how much slavery, and I know you guys heard it many times before, but he elaborates how much and to what extent slavery of the enslaved Africans here in the United States of America played a major part in building up this country. You're talking about a $1 billion industry back in the 1800s. Could you imagine how much money that is today? You're talking about the biggest companies and corporations of the world, definitely of this nation, was built on the backs and sweat of our ancestors, of our African ancestors. Now, I'm not the type of person that's gonna bring the past up, just to be doing it, just to be pointing fingers. Cause I'm not the type of individual. You know what I'm saying? I love everybody. I've never been a racist, never will be. I also believe in empowering ourselves, our people. Just like the whites do it, the Jewish do it, the Spanish do it, the Cubans do it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looking out for their culture, and not to say that we can't all stick together and make it happen, because we are. Obviously, we're in the United States of America, but at the same time, we have to pay attention to what is actually going on here. Now, I'm going to play this track by Ephraim called American Dream, a very positive young brother. I knew him growing up, and this song, you check him out on his YouTube channel. His name is spelled, just in case you guys want to go ahead and check him out, Ephraim, Efraim, Israel, Israel. Very powerful. I'm very proud of that young man. I don't know if he has an album coming out, but please, Ephraim, if you can hear, if you can tune in, call in, let us know what's going on with you, and tell your thought process in writing this song. Very powerful song. He deals with the Bible, deals with history. Okay, Ephraim's tuned in. Okay, I see Ephraim. I'm gonna get to you in a minute now. I'm just glad that everyone. I don't know how many people's called in. Give me a shout out on Twitter, guys. Courage to Believe. Let me get one of my flyers. So you guys see what I'm talking about. And I thought I was gonna get my new flyers today, so I'm sorry that you guys didn't get them, but it's all good. It is all good. And by the way, I just started a new Facebook, King Kevin Show. Please like me on Facebook right now. If you like me on Facebook right now, within the first person actually the first 5 people that likes me on Facebook, I'm going to send you a free DVD of my stage play, The Courage to Believe. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. Let me show you this. Here we go. Here. I am going anywhere. This is the actual DVDs of my stage play, The Courage to Believe. And a lot of hard work went into it. Thanks to everyone who helped, from the producing, the writing. I wrote and produced it, but I had a lot of help actually making this happen. You can go on my website, Courage to Believe book.com, and you get a whole lot of information. There's actually a tab on the very top to where you can learn more information and can order. This is going for $6.95 on my website. $6.95, and you'll be supporting me, and also my book, The Courage to Believe. Those who you already know, you'll be supporting. 10% goes to a charity in Haiti that my church, Redeeming Word, started. So 10% every book I sell goes to them. So this book really isn't about making me filthy rich, because I'm already rich in spirit, in truth, and in health. Thank God. And I just thank everyone for supporting me. Now back to what we were talking about, okay? Now you see me just sharp. Yeah, I hope you guys are just sharp. Let me fix my tie up a little bit, get my swag together. I just literally flew into my office to do this show. And let me turn on this music. Let me turn on Ephraim a little bit. My bad, Ephraim. I had to give everybody a little taste of you. But let me,
I'ma keep dropping knowledge till your head is sore.
Okay. I like that line. Keep dropping knowledge till your head is sore. Because some of us need that. Now, the Butler. One thing I wanted to say, shout out to Mariah Carey, and I forget the rapper's name who played the father of Forrest Whitaker in the movie. But if I was the father, I would have went and protected my wife before this white dude, this slave holder, actually went and violated her. You know what I'm saying? Then to go say something. You're going to get killed. He ended up getting killed. I'm sorry if I spoiled for anybody. That's just the beginning of the movie, so you get over it. But if that was me, if I'm going to get killed, I'm going to get killed protecting my wife, not after the fact she already been violated. You understand what I'm saying? And not that I condone violence. It's not that I condone hatred or anything like that. But I believe in protecting my family, and that's one of our amendments. You know, and also one thing that I also like about the movie that correlates perfectly with Dr. Claude Anderson's book. And if you guys didn't read it yet, please go support the brother. He has a website, theharvestinstitute.com, that you can go ahead and order this. This is theharvestinstitute.com. I actually spoke to his wife. Almost forgot. Shout out to Joanne Anderson. I spent like 15 minutes on the phone with her yesterday. Dr. Claude Anderson couldn't make it on the show tonight, but eventually he will, God willing. She didn't say that. I'm just speaking it because I believe that I'll get him on my show eventually. What I wanted to say was that he explains also why the crime had increased amongst the black community during that time of the early 1900s, late 1800s. But we were given our freedom, given the right to vote, and integration was established. There were a few important things that never happened that the government failed to do for the black community, for the Africans, African Americans. One, there was no set policy or standards amongst the government, public policy, in order to help implement or integrate blacks into America, into the American government, American system way of living. We were given our freedom with no jobs, no money, no homes, no food. And what's very interesting, and I knew this way before I read Dr. Claude Anderson's book, or even Chancellor Williams' book, Destruction of Black Civilization, is that Africans, I'm going to say Africans, I don't like saying, Haitians, Black Americans, or Bahamians, Jamaicans, none of that. We had all the skilled labor. We knew how to crop. We knew how to work in factories, build things with our hands, because we've been doing it in slavery for 200-300 years. So we had all those things in place already, and it's unfortunate that they gave us our freedom but didn't really allow us to be part of the American dream. I'm getting some text messages right now. Thank you everybody who's tuning in and showing me love and support. Yes, the show's going down right now, so please watch, alright? There was no set system for that. Now why is that significant, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens? Why is that significant? It's important because it shows that Africans had no choice but to get back into slavery. The mindset was already there. That was installed in us on purpose, systematically, processed, conditioned, brainwashed, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm not on no black power trip like I always tell you guys. I love everybody. As a matter of fact, I just felt led to say that in case my fans tuning in. Oh, Kevin's a racist. He hates white people. No, that is not true. That is not true, because if that was true, I wouldn't have white people pictures in my home if that was true. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even have President Obama's picture in my house, to be honest with you. Not because I'm not a fan of his, or shouldn't be a fan of anybody. That means you're a fanatic. I just never got around to it. I love what he's doing. I love what him and Miss Obama is doing, Michelle. I love their relationship as a couple, the image that they portray, and I hope it's a real one, because a lot of people are rooting for the Obamas. Not just as the leader of this country. I hope you guys can see me right. The lighting is good. Not just leaders of the country, but just as a family. We need more unity. We need more examples of successful marriages, because right now a lot of people don't respect that. But that's another thing. Let's get back to what I was saying. This is proof to show you guys I'm not racist. Look at what this is right here. Alright, this is a picture of me in South Dakota with Elise Miguel. She's married now in Chicago. A good friend of mine. I don't remember the other white girl name, but I was in South Dakota my freshman year. You see me wearing a Haitian shirt. I was repping Haiti all the way in South Dakota back in '99. Just know it's real, you know. But it was an honor, you know, to be out there and to learn there's some good people around the United States of America, because actually I was losing hope in society. Like, wow. But until I met people like Elise and her family and some of the other good white folks that was out there, you know, I really never had that sort of intimate relationship with white folks. Not intimate as in sleeping with each other, because I still haven't, I never slept with anyone out there. That's another problem. I'm joking. I'm joking. But let's get back down to business. Someone else has called me. I'm gonna let you get in. Please just be patient with me. Be patient with me. And remember, go on my Facebook, please. Kevin Dorval, King Kevin Show, all that good stuff. Tune in, call in, and you know, much love to everybody. Now get back to business. Now, there was no system for our people to actually make a living. So what they had to do, and like it showed in the Butler, the young man playing Forrest Whitaker, he had to break in a storefront to steal some cake, you know, and just some cake. It was raining. He running down, you know, the alleyway, and all he sees is people hanging in the streets. Black folks just being hung, just hung. I didn't wear a tie to do that. Just to let you guys know, it just crossed my mind. But literally, the streets are lined with black folks being lynched. The Jim Crow laws, separate but equal. And here's another interesting fact that I just recently found out. Now, I've known about Jim Crow laws and how they want to keep black people separate, and the white only drinking fountains, the black, you know what I'm saying, colored drinking fountains, and not being able to go to a restaurant, you know what I'm saying, things like that. You have to come through the back. I can imagine that today. As a king, as a young male, I can never see myself living that kind of lifestyle and be cool with it. And I like how they showed how Forrest Whitaker broke in the storefront, stole the cake, he ate it, he was starving to death. That alone could have got you lynched as a black man or black woman. But another black guy seen him starving, looked out for him, got him a job, trained him how to properly be a servant, which he already was doing out on the slave plantation after his father was killed and his mother went senile. And I just want to think how many people actually went through that. You know what I'm saying? And I want to ask one question before I start taking calls. How did the Butler make you feel? That's the one thing I want to answer tonight. How did the Butler make you feel as an individual, as a citizen, whether you're a mother or father, whatever, you know what I'm saying, son, daughter, auntie, grandma, grandpa, how did that make you feel? I almost wanted to cry in there. Now, I'm in the movie theaters taking notes, but I'm looking at this and I'm saddened by this. I love history, but this was like one of the best movies dealing with the truth about slavery and just the position of black America. It really startled me. Now I'm getting a few text messages. I want to make sure that I get in contact with everybody just to let them know. Yes, it is going down. Please show love. Watch us, King Kevin Show. And I'm gonna start taking the first caller right now. I know Ethan been waiting, so I'm gonna take this call. I think somebody named Jim as well called in, but hopefully Jim could go ahead and give me a call back. Okay, guys, let me play a little music while we get this thing going. Back Atlantic Star. Yes. I love that song, man. I'm an old school player. I just love old school music. But this song here makes me want to just love somebody. You understand what I'm saying? God is love and love is God. So spread love as much as you can. Regardless of the topic of the show, remember life is short. Spread love, show love, give love. Now here we go with Ephraim. I hope he can call in and check in.
Shalom, brother.
Hey, Hotep, my brother. Hotep, what's going on with you, my brother?
What's going on, man?
Man, I'm out here vibing, trying to make a million before the weekend. You understand what I'm saying, sir?
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Okay, yeah, man. You know, I was listening to your track. I really listened to it really deep last night.
Mhm.
And, you know, I just happened to play it to the line where he said, I'm going to feed you knowledge until your head hurt.
Straight up, straight up.
So go ahead and explain to our callers more about you. We got a couple of minutes. More about you, what you're doing, and what that song represented. And definitely, if you can, you know, implement the Butler. Did you see the Butler?
Nah, unfortunately, I didn't see the Butler, man.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But one day you will. But explain to us, the callers and the viewers, what does American Dream, your song, mean?
Well, basically, I've been rapping for a long time now. Ever since I was 16, and when I was younger, I used to rap about some pretty negative stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the neighborhood we grew up in. You know what I mean? Rap about drugs and foolishness, whoremongering,
Right.
and womanizing and stuff like that. But as I got older, you know what I mean, I started getting into politics. I started doing a lot of research, kind of like what you're talking about, even with slavery. Like, there's so much stuff in the world that they don't teach us, that they hide from us. They're actually hiding it from us. Actually, it's not that they don't teach us; they're just hiding it from us. They don't want us to know certain things.
Right.
So my whole goal is, just as your goal is to empower our people. And my whole goal is to do that same thing, but through music, just putting out a lot of, you know what I mean, just like curious topics, just to send people out there to go do some research. You know
Awesome.
what I mean? To go look some stuff up, because at the end of the day, it's like even the scriptures tell you to study to show yourself approved. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like you can't never really take nothing these days. You got to go out and do your own research and see what's really going on out there.
Oh, that's a must. You have to. And even though a lot of information that we're getting, I've been bombarded with some very interesting facts, and I had to do the research myself. Like, wow, not that I was questioning whether or not these things were true, especially dealing with the cotton and how much money was generated for this country.
Brother.
You know what I'm saying?
Brother, actually the stock market that everybody's jumping up and down for, it was based on slavery when it first started. The stock were the slaves. The slaves were the stock. So that money that was generated, that built this country, that money is still here, and you know what I mean? Our captors, they're still thriving from all that money that they made, all that profit. Like, it's just ridiculous how much money they made off of that.
And you know what? It's very interesting you mentioned that. Now, I was going to talk about this later on in the show, but I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun a little bit.
Okay.
Johnny Cochran, before he passed away, and rest in peace, Johnny Cochran, a very strong brother. I read both of his autobiographies, and as a matter of fact, when I read his autobiographies, I knew I had to go ahead and write my own. You know what I'm saying? Because he explained being a black man and experiencing racism head on in California, and you know about the racist cops in California. I'm surprised I haven't heard about I haven't seen any documentaries about how those police officers came to California to start the LAPD.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just a quick history lesson right there. A lot of those police officers came from the South. They came from the southern states, the Confederate states, to regulate the black folks in California, in the Los Angeles area. So that's why you were getting a lot of black folks getting killed, beat up, lynched out in California, because they literally brought the rednecks there on purpose to cause that kind of havoc. So when I was like, wow, is that for real? Like, could they actually be so cruel and callous to actually go ahead and do something like that? To recruit racists, not just racists, but racist killers at that, the KKK, to be the law enforcement.
Brother, research Black Wall Street.
Oh yes, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yes.
You see. So our people weren't always, you know what I mean. They like to always depict us as being, you know what I mean, violent, drug selling, always disorganized and stuff like that. But when we actually came together to actually prosper, then, you know what I mean, that's when government agencies are formed. You know what I mean? You start to get your CIAs and your FBIs. You see with the Black Panther Party, the FBI came about to shut them up. You feel what I'm saying? Because they're doing too much good for the people. You know what I mean? And our people, the way we are, like, we gonna catch on quick, and then we gonna, you feel what I'm saying? We're gonna move past you. You know what I mean? If you sleep on us, you know what I mean? So they can't have that happen, not in this society. So it's like, at the end of the day, man, it's all about the Most High, because it's like we've always been trying to come up with a scheme or just try and rally together to empower ourselves, and then we always leave out the Most High and what He wants us to do, because at the end of the day, everything that we go through is still the Most High testing us, you know what I mean, to see who's really for Him, to see who's really gonna keep His commandments and
Amen.
do what He, you know what I'm saying, do what He tells us to do, because at the end of the day, once we start doing that, then all these curses is gonna shut off of us. You feel what I'm saying? We're gonna look back and we're gonna be like, I can't believe that we were even in that condition. Because right now we're still suffering from that condition.
Oh yes, suffering in a major way, and you touched upon something. Now I believe I mentioned it the last show, but there's 2 million individuals incarcerated right now, and I just found some stats from the Department of Justice. Mm-hmm. Now, in 1990, there were 1 million people incarcerated. Right? That's 1990.
Okay.
Right now, in 2013, there are 2 million. They doubled that amount. And as of January 2013, it could be more, could be a little less, but 2 million. And 40%, actually 39.5%, are black women and black men. Now they consider this modern day slavery, and I completely agree with that concept, because look at the private businesses, the private corporations who are literally building these prisons. They're building these prisons based on the grade levels or the reading levels of the kids in elementary. And I want to say, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but the black students in elementary. I'm not sure. I've been hearing about it, but I don't see any concrete information on that.
I mean, you seen that judge that got I believe he got indicted because he was actually, like, he was getting like bonuses based on how much time he was given to our black brothers and sisters. You feel what I'm saying? Like, based on like whatever minor charges they were getting, he was giving them like an egregious amount of time, and he was getting like referral fees almost from these investors that were invested in the prison system.
Wow. And
yeah.
I wouldn't doubt. I didn't hear about that, but I would not doubt. I love if you need to find out what's the name of that judge, so we can put him on blast. Put him on blast. But I didn't hear about that, man. But I appreciate you calling in, my brother. Hope you stay tuned for the rest of the show. And you guys go ahead and subscribe to Ephraim's YouTube, and which is Ephraim, EFRAYIM, Israel. And by the way, when your CD comes out, do you have a CD out, or are you working on something?
Not really per se.
Okay.
I'm just putting out this music for free, really. You know what I mean? I got some advertisement on my YouTube videos. So
all right. All right.
Get some monetary get back on that right there.
Well, amen. Well, you know, I truly believe in supporting each other, and just, you know, support those you believe in, regardless of what color or creed or where they're from. If you believe in what someone is doing, whether it's his music or my writing or this show, if you like to donate, I can't believe I never mentioned that. Please go ahead and donate to my show. It's on my website, couragetobelievebook.com. And Ephraim, man, blessings to you, okay?
All right, man. Thanks, brother.
All right, thanks.
All right, man.
And as he was mentioning, that is like crazy. You know, the judge is doing that. And it reminds me of a situation that happened to me. And I didn't even talk about this in my book. I don't think I did. But when a judge and a court-appointed attorney, and he wasn't a normal, you know, court-appointed attorney. I forgot the name that they give these guys. But anyway, you guys know. Tweet it to me. I haven't been in the system in a long time. They actually make deals with each other. Now the state pays these what do you call these attorneys that defend the defendants for free? It's gonna come to me. But anyway, the court pays these attorneys, right? Whatever the fee is. Now I caught my case, and public defenders, that's the name, public defenders. Good looking out for the people who put that out there for me. You know, they pay them roughly $700 to $1,000 to defend you. Now that the state pays that. That means they're not gonna go above that or beyond that amount of money as far as how they defend you in court. So I'm sitting there, I got me a attempted robbery charge, right? You know, I'm 21, I was 20 at the time, 21 at the time, and actually it was a burglary charge, just to be real with you guys. It's all in my book. But I'm sitting there and I'm watching the public defender. This is my first charge, by the way, as an adult. I'm looking at him, laughing with the judge, laughing with the prosecutor, making plans for lunch, and I believe some sort of dinner that they were going to attend together. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, I'm about to get sentenced, and these guys discussing, you know, some sort of dinner that they going to attend, and I'm in here nervous. I'm shaking like a prostitute in the church. You know what I'm saying? Literally. And the audacity of them to do that in my face. Hair shaking and everything. They all white. The judge, the public defender, and the prosecutor. And I'm like, get the hell out of here. I was dumbfounded. Had I had the patience to go ahead and just take the trial to court, you know what I'm saying? Just take it to trial. It's already in court. I'm tripping. Take it to trial. Take it to the door, like people would say. And I was hurt by that situation, man, because I ended up, doing 9 months in jail. Being caught up in a situation, and where I got caught in that's a whole other thing. But I made a bad decision. Consistently making bad decisions in life. You got to make some great ones. You got to make some good ones. I call them touchdowns. Every move you make sure that it's a touchdown and everybody benefits. Because when you make a touchdown, the whole team scores a point. You feel what I'm saying? Now, how were they, back to the Butler and black labor and white wealth, how were they controlling the slaves? They did it in 3 ways. One, systematically controlling them through physical control, whippings, beatings, you know what I'm saying, violating the women, making the men violate the other females, you know what I'm saying. They had even breeding grounds, breeding cabins where they'll put the black woman in there, and one of the male slaves that was strong and bulked up and everything. I guess they measured his penis or whatever the case may be, but they have him in there breeding with the women. So he's screwing if he's a big strong man, they gonna have him have sex with as many slaves as possible in there. You know what I'm saying? As many of our queens. You feel me? That's how sick and sadistic these people were. Another thing they were doing, economically controlling them. Now, if you're not getting any of these subsidies, all these big contracts for train tracks coming through, you know what I'm saying? To build the train tracks that were transporting all the cotton products, all the products that were being made by the Africans, by the enslaved, our ancestors. None of us were getting them contracts. None of us were getting no money on the building contracts. It wasn't until the Atlanta Compromise by Booker T. Washington that he was able to speak on behalf of the black community and say, this is what we're going to do, and we want you guys to respect that. You know what I'm saying? And thank you, Brother Ephraim. That was what was going on back then. We weren't getting no money. You know what I'm saying? We had to go back to the plantations for sharecropping and making little next to nothing. You feel me? And there's another thing that was going on. We were educationally being controlled. Separate but equal. Plessy versus Ferguson. Plessy versus Ferguson. Was it Ferguson or Ferguson? Now I'm confused. But you know what happened. It wasn't until Brown versus Board of Education, which I believe happened in 1954. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it wasn't until that case took place that we were able to get schools to integrate the schools, because things were never separate but equal. Never. The books were inadequate, the schools were poorly funded, and the kids had to walk miles to get to school. The black kids had to walk miles. So that's how we were being controlled. That's how we were kept in a substandard way of life. And I speak about history for a couple of reasons. One, I love history. Anybody who knows me, who read my book, who follow me on Twitter or my blogs, you know I love history. I speak about history because if you don't comprehend what happened in the past, you understand? If you don't acknowledge that, you are bound to repeat it in the present, and it's going to continue in the future. You follow what I'm saying? That's why it's important, no matter what your background is, to know the history of your people and what they stood for. Okay? Now, moving along, I want to talk about something that was passed in 1701. Meritus manumission. That's Meritus manumission. Now this law passed, and this goes along with how Africans were being controlled and manipulated. Meritus manumission simply means that you as a slave, if you were to snitch on a slave rebellion, something like what happened with Nat Turner, and there were plenty, I believe there was about 100, 150 slave rebellions or attempts during slavery. But if you as a black man or woman was to snitch on a rebellion, they will give you your freedom. That's one way you get your freedom. Another thing, if you were to protect your slave holders' property or protect their lives, to save them, that's another way you get your freedom. Another way you get your freedom, and I believe the third one, if I'm not mistaken, and before I say it, I want to make sure that I'm right, is that, okay, I said all three. I said all three. This put blacks against blacks. Meritus manumission, that put blacks against blacks, and it's still going on today. You watch news today, and you have someone speaking about, the black community. You're going to have another black person that's going to play devil's advocate. You're going to have a black person speaking against the black community. The white folks are not going to do it themselves. Why do the dirty work when they can have you do it? Just like Sambo in Uncle Tom's Cabin. You know what I'm saying? People say, and I like the fact that Brother Anderson mentioned that in his book. Uncle Tom wasn't the sellout. He's the one that looking out for people. It was Sambo that was doing that. Sambo was the one snitching on the slave rebellion. Sambo was the one letting the master like they call it, know what was going on before it happened. You feel what I'm saying? So just to let you guys know that. Now, someone asked me a question which I'm going to get into, and before I forget, I want to make sure I give a shout out to a couple of people. One more person, Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin's mom. Bless you. Thank you for giving me the poster. She gave me a poster. Let me show you guys the poster she gave me. If you go on my Instagram or you go on my Facebook or my Twitter, Courage to Believe, and that's my Instagram as well, Courage #2 Believe, you'll see this picture that I took with her and a friend of mine, Slim. If Slim watching the show, but she gave us this poster. She did this in Fort Lauderdale and took pictures with me, and I look forward, someone from my organization reached out to me, so I look forward to working with her. Anyone who's watching the show who knows her, tell her much love, and to the Trayvon Martin Foundation. So you guys, TrayvonMartinFoundation.org, I believe it is the website, but follow me on Twitter, you get the website. And it was a blessing finally getting a chance to meet a very humble woman. But I want to get into something else. Now, there's a couple of documentaries that I've been watching for the past month, and one of them was brought to my attention by a good friend of mine, Jeanette. I hope she's watching. If you're watching, Jeanette, call in. I need some more callers. I hung up on someone by mistake. I hope you can call in, and let me reply to this. Bill Cosby did a documentary called Black History, Lost, Stolen, or Strayed. Now, what's important about this documentary is that it spoke about a couple of black heroes that I never heard of. And I read a lot, believe me. If you look at my library right here, and hopefully I can turn this camera right. See all those books right there in the corner? That's my library right there. You know what I'm saying? So you can understand that I take my education very seriously. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post up behind so you guys can see the library for the rest of the show. And I'm also going to post up my poster at the same time. I might as well promote. But that documentary, what made that documentary important to me is that he spoke about a guy named John Horse. John Horse was a black man that was a slave. You know, he was a slave. He ran away, and instead of running away to the north, a lot of people believe that blacks ran away to the north. They, you know what I'm saying, told like everybody ran to the north. No, a lot of blacks ran to Florida. Florida was owned by Spain. Okay, but John Horse was a profound individual. As a matter of fact, Dr. Claude Anderson calls him the only black hero ever in history. Now, I don't agree with that. I say Toussaint Louverture was, you know what I'm saying, was an outstanding general, and he led the first successful slave rebellion that ended up as a state. You know what I'm saying? Haiti became its own state. Back in 1804, it was declared, you know, their independence, but he fought the French for 10 years. And no country has ever done that in the Western Hemisphere, especially not during the slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade. The only country that have done that. So do your research on Haiti. Shout out to the ancestor and the rest of the soldiers who fought in that war. But with John Horse, he fought the United States for 50 years. But would never give up. You guys heard about the Seminole Wars with Andrew Jackson? That's how Jacksonville got his name, Jacksonville, because Andrew Jackson became the first governor of Florida. And what he did was, he loved fighting Indians, but he killed a whole lot of children and women. There was a battle where they shot into some sort of Fort Negro is what they called it. He shot into the fort, his men, and it actually blew up because the fort was holding a lot of women, Indians, blacks, and a lot of children. You know what I'm saying? While the men are going to war, you gotta understand that they were, you know, they protected the women and children in that fort. And unfortunately, that gunshot exploded. And that's unfortunate. And also, Seminole, which I just learned, means runaway slave. Seminole. Now here's another interesting thing about Mr. John Horse. It's the fact that he never gave up, and they never was able to kill him. He just disappeared. But he loved horses. He was very good with horses, and I guess that's how he got his name, John Horse. So look him up. Bill Cosby mentions him in the documentary Black History, Lost, Stolen, and Strayed, and also Claude Anderson mentions him as well. Now here's another thing. I want to play you guys something real quick from the Bill Cosby documentary, which I was very surprised. You think about documentary, Bill Cosby, you thinking about the Cosby Show being nice and huggable, but he was very assertive and serious about what was going on. Now I want you to listen to this. If I can get this to play, and not sure why it's not playing right now, but I'm going to get it to play. Well, it's not playing right now. But what I wanted you guys to hear was what the children said at the end of this documentary. Now, there's a school in Philadelphia called Freedom School, and it was owned by this black male. I forgot his name. I can't mention I don't remember his name right now, and it wouldn't be right that I don't give him his props. But what I like about this individual is the fact that he was able to teach these kids from the ages 3 to 5. I believe before they actually got into regular school, that he taught them who they were. Now, another thing I liked about it, that these kids were actually pretty smart and bright. You would be very surprised to know that these kids were so young. Now let me start talking and go ahead and let this documentary play, because I would love for you guys to hear this. I mean, this is very powerful. Just bear with me. I'm gonna tune out with this song again by Atlanta Star. I just love this song, so you guys are gonna have to forgive me, okay? So tune in and while I locate this documentary. My recorder's not working on my phone. I don't know why. I recorded for the show. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Okay, I'm still here. Bear with me. I'm gonna get it right. Give me 1 second. Let me. Another thing I want to talk about is Rosewood. Why you guys wait for me to find this documentary? Rosewood. Did you know that? Another question I want to ask: are we ever going to obtain reparations? And I want to know if anyone is going to care about reparations. Will we ever obtain reparations for slavery? Whether you're talking about here in the United States of America, or you're talking about in Haiti, Jamaica, are we ever going to receive reparations? And one thing that I realized is that, okay, I found it. One thing that I realized that Rosewood, this happened in January 1923. Now, I'm hearing some, I've been doing some research, and also you guys didn't see the movie Rosewood that had starred Esther Rose, rest in peace. She's here from South Florida, Pompano. And also Vin Ryan and a couple of other individuals. I can't think of the names right now. I've seen that movie in years. Great movie. But they were killed. The whole town was slaughtered. I mean, when I say slaughtered, the whole town was slaughtered. Now, I read that the whites were doing coon hunting, to where they allow blacks to run around in the woods. They'll let them loose in the woods. The slaves that they didn't like, and as they try to hide, whether it's up in the tree, where they'll shoot them down from the tree, or shoot them wherever they were in the forest. Now it's unfortunate that over 100 people died. Now with Rosewood, the whole town was completely annihilated. There was a few survivors. I believe they mentioned about 23 survivors. I have to double check what the number was on that. But there was only a few survivors. But in 1994, finally, a bill called HB 591, CS HB 591, the Rosewood bill, was passed to where every member of the family was giving $150,000. So it came up to about $2.1 million. So 71 years later, they want to acknowledge what happened in Rosewood, because this happened in Levy County up there in North Florida, and that's the only time, first and only time, any blacks were given reparations anywhere. So I want you guys to, I want to hear from you. I know I had a caller, I lost you. I know one of these days my callers are gonna blow up. You know what I'm saying? I thank you for the support. Everyone's tuning in right now. But here's what I want to play for you guys. All right? So listen up. I'm gonna play this for like 30 seconds.
And a genius, and what else? I'm looking for another word. All of you are geniuses right now, and you'll be better than that. What else? I'm looking for a word that begins with a B. Brilliant. Brilliant. And brilliant really means to shine.
And this is in Philadelphia.
Will shine. All of you are really going to be brilliant. Good enough. All right. How does everybody feel now? You ready to get ready for lunch?
Yeah.
Now, that is a quick snippet of what he was doing to the students in the school, installing confidence, showing them that who they were, and they weren't just, some kids that just happened to be in the country, just be in the country. You know what I'm saying? And there was this young man. He asked him, "Are you a boy or are you a man?" He said, "I'm a man." And he said, "What kind of man are you?" "I'm a strong black man." And the kid was so cute. I just gotta have you guys just gotta listen to this. Okay?
Any means necessary.
Now here it is. He asked this kid about freedom.
Years, he decided to.
All right, sit down. Young man, what is your name?
My name is Eric Houston.
Listen close. Eric Houston.
What is your nationality?
My nationality is Afro-American.
What is freedom?
Freedom is black power.
What is black power?
Black power is...
Do you know what black power is?
No.
Well, then you should never make any statements if you don't know what they mean.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
All right. How old are you, young man?
I am 4 years old.
You're not 4 here. Now you tell me your right age. How old are you?
You listening?
How old are you?
He's questioning the kid on a couple simple questions, but I want you to listen to how he answers them.
Are you sure you're 4?
Yes.
You're going to let me turn you around and tell you you're some other age? You're 6 years old, Eric.
No.
I can't hear you, Eric.
No.
Are you being framed by me?
No.
I'm a teacher. I said you're 6.
I am 4 years old.
All right, then. You stand up for it, then. You shouldn't be weak. You stand up and say it. You ought to scream it in my face if I try to tell you different, right?
Yes.
Have a seat. Stand up,
Now,
man.
that little snippet is something that I want you guys to listen to, and definitely check it out. It's on YouTube. It's called "The History Lost, Stolen, or Stray." And I also want to just get into as well the immigration policies before we end the show tonight. The immigration policies. Now you notice how Haitians couldn't come into the country. Now I'm just not bringing this up because I'm Haitian. I'm African first. The immigration policies were made so that we could not come into this country to take part in the democratic government here in the United States. Now I was thinking that there was a bias against Haiti and Haitians and things like that, which there is, because George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, they actually funded Napoleon Bonaparte, which I'll speak about that some other time, but the French general Napoleon, to beat Haiti in the slave rebellion, because they knew if Haiti was to win this war and word gets around that slavery was going to come to an end, it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. They gave, what I know for sure George Washington did, I'm not sure of the amount Thomas Jefferson did, Thomas Jefferson was the 3rd president, if I'm not mistaken, of the United States, supposedly. $150,000 back then. You talking about in 1792, 1794, $150,000. You know how much money that is? That's equivalent of about a couple billion, not a couple billion, a couple $1 million back then. Just to stop slavery, to keep the slave rebellion from going on, but to let it continue. We want to stop slavery as a people. And if you don't know about the Haitian history and the Haitian Revolution, that literally struck the biggest blow, was the first major biggest blow against slavery. They knew it was going to come to an end. And they didn't want the slaves in America, the enslaved, forgive me, they didn't want them to find out about that, because if they knew that, then they were going to go after their freedom. You know? And that's why people like Nat Turner emerged. Once Nat Turner, because Nat Turner was already he was already a preacher. He was he was an orator, inspirational young brother. But once he read about, and he knew how to read, that's another thing, education. That was another tool to control our people. They didn't want them to read. They knew that if they found that out, that word was going to get around, and that systematic, that white supremacist attitude, that white supremacy system was going to come to an end, because now, if they can fight in Haiti, then they can fight here in the United States. And Nat Turner, he killed, what it was, about 30, 40 people, even his slave holders. He killed them too. And guess how he got caught? another slave, I talk about meritorious manumission, turn him in. When he got hungry trying to find some food, somebody turned him in. And I wanted to touch back on something else. I know I talked about the immigration policies, and I want to tell you guys, why is that so significant? Why are they sanctioned? Why are they putting these red tape on Haitians coming in? It's because black folks, and Dr. Claude Anderson explained in his book, the more black people you have in the country, that means we become more of a majority and no longer a minority. See, that word minority sticks us in the column. Instead of us being individually represented as black folks, now we put in, with Hispanics. We put in with Arabs, unless the Arabs choose to be white. Arabs have the opportunity to choose whether they want to put an application black or white. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them choose, they put white on there when it's to their benefit, or they put black on there when it's to their benefit. And that's something that I found very interesting. But being able to not allow the Haitians to come here in the United States, it kept the number of blacks in this country at a standstill. We're still 13%. So that's why, main reason why a lot of Haitians are always put in the chrome. Why is that Haitians are put in the chrome and Cubans are given a parade? Can anybody answer that question? And that's what I had to deal with for a very long time. I could not believe that. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to become an attorney, was because I wanted to represent my people. I wanted to become an immigration attorney, to fight against these laws that have been put against our people for years, decades, centuries. The United States government would never admit it, but they hate Haiti for what they did with the whole slave rebellion and being successful with it. Now you gotta remember, the French army run by Napoleon Bonaparte was the strongest army in the world. If they're the strongest army in the world, and my people beat them, and we beat them, what does that make the Haitian army? The best, right or wrong? If you're the best and I beat you, what does that make me? That makes us the best. And that's just something that I'm very proud of. I'm sorry. But I want to make sure that I also talk about another thing dealing with those kids. Everyone knows that I'm a mentor, inspirational speaker, and all that good stuff. And I hope you can see my billboard back there. I figure I might as well give myself a shout out, And go to my website, Courage to Believe, please. But the kids in that documentary with Bill Cosby, they were given the opportunity to draw how they seen themselves. Now, this is important because they had a psychologist who happened to be white analyze the results. They had a couple of black kids and a couple of white kids draw a house on one piece of paper, draw a man or draw a woman on another piece of paper, and I believe they had an option, but they did draw a tree as well. Interestingly enough, the black kids drew trees with barely any branches, definitely no leaves. The white kids drew full-blown trees with leaves and branches, but the black kids didn't do that. Another thing that bothered me is that the black kids in that documentary, when one of the boys drew a woman and a man, the black kid did, and none of the two art pieces had arms or eyes. And this is troubling because the white kids drew, an adult, they drew a man and woman with arms, dress, eyes, mouth, and hands, and the whole nine. A full-drawn person. The home they drew didn't have, the black kids, the homes they drew didn't have windows. And one of them drew one without a door, if I'm not mistaken. The white kids drew a house. They had a long sidewalk, windows, and doors. And the psychologist, I don't remember his name, he said that this is detrimental. Because if you look at you compare and contrast these two drawings, it's showing you how the black kids see their world versus how the white kids see their world. Now, he said he was startled at what he's seen. Now, these are just kids. But if you've seen a kid drawing a house with no window, that means that they see no way out. You see a kid drawing a person with no arms, that means they can't reach for nothing. They can't reach their dreams. There's nothing attainable or tangible in their world. A tree with no branches, no trees. Just a tall tree with maybe one branch, no leaves. That means they see no growth in their current situation. There's no way out of it. Now, that bothers me, being a mentor. I speak at many different schools. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned beginning of the show, I was just at FAU speaking to the students. Shout out to Company Creole again. I love being there. Much love to y'all. Much success. But these kids were elementary kids. So I don't care what color or what creed you are. If you're mixed, if you have kids that are white, black, or mixed, Hispanic, Arab, yada, whatever. You be sure that to have your kids draw those types of pictures and analyze them, because I'm sure all of them have. And when that psychologist broke that down, I was like, oh my God. And I believe that is all we have today for the show. I am thankful for everyone who was able to tune in and listen. I had a couple callers, less than what I had before, but we're going to keep this going. The King Kevin Show, every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. And shout out to everyone who showed me love on Twitter. I'm going to give a couple of shout outs right now on Twitter. People who gave me a retweet. Cap a Million World, it's Showtime, gave me a tweet a couple of times. And there's a radio show, You're Never Alone. Check out that play. Check out their Twitter. Terror Man, people on Facebook, Call Me Creole, showing me love. AFC Photography, follow him on Twitter. Much love to all of you. But there's a radio station in Minnesota. A young lady gave me a call this afternoon to see how we can go ahead and work together and do something, which would be an honor to do so. And once I find her name, give her a shout. Okay, 89.9 up in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. Thanks for tuning in and giving me a tweet and retweet and all that good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, this will be all for this evening. It's 8:05. I thank you. I bless you. I'm going to finally get a chance to take off this tie and relax. And again, it's the King Kevin Show. Check me out. Show me love. God bless you. Be encouraged. And don't forget to study your history, because it's your responsibility to do so. Alright? Love, peace, and good food. God bless. Oh, Lord have mercy. Thank you, Lord.